That's not good. And stream started. G'day. Welcome to the stream where I am going to be playing the interval that came out a while ago that I completely forgot existed. Addison District H. I do not believe we have been there yet. So yay, a new district. If you learn any information about the port. Let's go quickly check. Where am I? Oh, where's the stuff? Gonna be the best feeling in the world. Right. It's great. Oh well. Nothing I can do about it now. I'll start straight. Might as well just get right into it. Happy New Year. Dante, any idea where the leftover cake from yesterday went? No idea. I mean, why would I know? I can't even eat. Darn, did Donkey already get a pause on him? Rhodia rubbed her tired eyes, muttering something about how we should have partied in her room instead, and stumbled to the back door. The new year came swiftly to the inhabitants of the bus after the various incidents at the LCE. The sinners all came from different backgrounds and parts of the city, but annual celebrations for New Year seem to be a thread that connects their cultures together. They began floating the idea of a New Year's party, and wait, I probably should make sure the audio is working. The audio is not working. That's because it's connected to the Lobotomy Corporation instead of Limbus. There we go, now it's working. Excellent, then permit me the honor of hosting the banquet. With her usual overdramatic boast, coupled with the familiar twinkle in her eyes, Don Quixote declared that there would indeed be a New Year's party, and thus it was decided. Again, after all the hell we went through with the back door and whatnot for their out-of-season Christmas celebration. Yet I must insist for 'twas but an effort to decorate the bus, the intent quite discovered from the act of celebration. Don Quixote glanced at Sinclair, sheepishly scratching the back of her head. Don't worry about me, really. Well, 'tis true that mine actions has brought thee quite the distress. Unintentionally, I might add. Thus I ask thee, wouldst thou not agree that a communal event to mark the occasion might freshen both our spirits and bodies? I can't even begin to imagine her amnesiac self even taking a moment to give a damn about how Sinclair might take it, but I guess with memory came tact. Yeah, no, it's our first years together. It sure is an occasion for a celebration, huh? Gotta hear that bell go ding. That really makes it a transition to a new year, right? It seems that we shall be welcoming the first light of the new year in company of one another. This is indeed a cause for celebration. A bowl of noodles before the last night of the year fades classic. Such bubbling enthusiasm from the warmest minds o' heart. For through the grandiose of this banquet shall be one for the books, fireworks most brilliant enough delicate. Jaron, when's our next stop? Mephi be running non-stop for 3 days at least. Only bump stop on a fast road. So she says. Virgilius mutters with his usual sardonic edge, one first under his chin. Fie. For next year's celebration, the banquet shall be prepared promised hour. Don Quixote's idea of a grand banquet depressingly fizzled into nothingness, but Rhodia brought out the cake and cookies she stashed in her room so we could at least hold a small celebration for the New Year's together. After that, we all stayed up together watching the New Year's first sunrise briefly paint the city in gold, then retired to sleep. When everyone woke up rubbing their tired eyes, the world outside the bus had completely transformed. Now that's a megastructure. There was a behemoth of a structure, bizarre in its presence, and its walls seemingly made of gargantuan steel plates. H-Corp. The sinners began to voice their surprise, appropriately so, as what came into view was different from any of the nests we'd passed by on our journey thus far. Is that a massive structure or all one building? If that whole thing's a nest, then where the hell are the Backstreets? That's big enough to cover H-Corp's territory and then some. Well, there he goes again, asking dumb questions without even taking a peep at the guidebook. I don't think any of you read the guidebook except you. And I'd be surprised. Actually, no, Heathcliff can read. I was gonna say I'd be surprised if he can read, but canonically he can. That's not the nest. That huge box you see over there, that's District 8. We call it Hongyun, the vast garden here at H-Corp. The nest lies within the center of the structure and the back streets without. So they squeeze the entire population of this district in there. Do they not get a ray of sunlight all year round? Well, at least they won't have to worry about the rain. Yeah, pretty avail me a sight as well. As the sinners began to gather one by one at the other side of the bus, stirred away from their night's rest, I felt my gaze draw towards Honglu. I looked for signs of concern or distress on his face, worried. It wasn't exactly something unique to Honglu, but the stories about his past home life we've heard throughout the years whenever he felt like sharing them were all consistently and terribly depressing. It's not such a bad place once you actually try living there for a while. But his lips, ever so slightly, curled upwards into a kindly and relaxed smile. Are making the same expression as ever. An expression that hasn't changed at all since our first meeting. Maybe it's just a cultural difference, kinda like how Honglu can be so nonchalant about things that should give most people pause, but actually no, I'm not helping anyone or anything by entertaining these thoughts. My job at the moment is to keep a close eye on Honglu more than usual. And if the time comes for me to help him as the manager, I'll give it my all. Besides, this thing's even bigger up close. Verily, I carry no recollection of a structure so grand even in past adventures of mine. If my efforts aren't enough, I know I can trust the sinners to lend me a hand. Hey, let me see too. I collected my thoughts and approached the sinners who were flattened up against the glass window to get a good view. So Honglu's from H Corp. The duel. Come to burn. Do I have any? I don't have many burn units. I think bleed has the most slashes. No, that'd be sync. You're a slash. You're a bash. Wait a second. That's 50, that's 50. 32, 41. Both of you have slashes, don't you? No, you got a pierce. You only got bashes. You do have slashes. I don't have an actual team with mostly slash users. That's annoying. Let's go to battle. Once we left the bus. Oh man, I can't believe we had to get off the bus here. We have to make a formal complaint against H Corp for this crap. What the hell were they thinking doing shoddy construction work at the entrance of the highway that leads straight into the nest? Many causes there may be to such construction projects, yet perhaps an early warning sign are appropriate to the site would have been a sensible were it not for young Charon's most brilliant drifting. I shudder to even imagine the terrible possibilities 'twas have been the most awful end to our adventure. It's no surprise that the sinners all had pieces of their mind to speak. As we drove up to the entryway, we unexpectedly came across a mess of badly put together steel plates blocking our path in the middle of the road. Charon quickly spun the bus around, which meant that everyone ended up being thrown about like rag dolls. Good thing there was another road off the highway that leads into the city, right? I bet Charon would have tried to reverse gear all the way back to the last interchange. But looks like we'll be going through all those winding alleyways to get to the nest. It's so dark in here. We were greeted by a dark street upon disembarking from the bus, illuminated only by faint strands of light. It was immediately obvious that we found ourselves in the backstreets of H Corp. Looked pretty impressive from the outside, but it's no different from the other backstreets inside. Yet it's a familiar sight. Gotta say, it gets really old. Hi RC, is the nest of this district shrouded in such darkness as well? No, these particular signs are limited to the back streets of District 8. The back streets of this district weren't very different from the other ones we'd visited in the past. People hurrying through the streets as though they were being chased by something, people scrolling and glaring at the ground with some sickness or discomfort, senses all too common in every corner of the city. There was one thing about this place that stood out from the other districts, however. That kind of reminded me of the former G-Corp soldiers back at District 4. What do you mean? You mean those fellas? The growls on their flesh appeared too organic to be prosthetic. Some of them had odd protrusions or nodules bulging from their skin as well. Not at all, manager, but look, they haven't all mutated in the same pattern, like into an insectoid form, for example. Well, I guess I should commend you for not looking at them through a biased lens. You are observing the aftermath of District 8's distinctive method of treatment. So this is where the rumors about the bluish healing ointment came from, huh? Apparently they can cure any flesh wound after just one night dressed in bandages. It seems that certain misconceptions must be addressed. They are the variations of H-Corp singularity, the bolus. The bolus? He is likely referring to medicines brewed and kneaded into ball-shaped pills. Correct. H-Corp, or the Hongyun bioengineering group, mainly manufacture boluses that contain essences of treatment. The boluses may be taken orally, ground with water into a paste and applied directly to the affected area, or dissolved in water, soaked into bandages and wrapped around the necessary area for treatment. I guess rumors, transformers, they travel. I see. I was just thinking about how they did do things back at K-Corp. The focus of K-Corp's technology is the reversal or recovery of one's condition. Returning to the original state is the key word in their treatment. It is not rare sight to find unique techniques and technologies developed independently by inhabitants of the Backstreets of District 8 using the manufactured boluses. The treatment are not individually customized for each patient. Instead, their focus is on selecting the appropriate technique for a myriad of choices to address the deficiencies in their status. Perhaps one could choose the word transformation or evolution as a more illustrative description for their method of treatment. So there, that counts as treated. The crowd Sinclair was pointing at certainly appeared unhurt, as none of them were bleeding or walking with a limp, but many of them appeared dazed, staring blankly at nothing or scratching absently at their mutated parts. They must be the regulars. Unexpectedly, we found our answer not from Faust, not from Assault, but from Hong Lu. The regulars? Yes, I've heard of them as a child. People who've grown too accustomed to visiting the clinics in search for their mystical treatments. The regulars might appear more intimidating than most people at a first glance, but apparently all the side effects that have been stacking changes them in a strange ways. It is highly likely the inert operation conflicts or issues with arise when applying highly disparate treatment methods to a single body. At least it's a cheaper alternative for people who don't sign up for life insurance. You speak of life insurance? Yes, life insurance. There's a special insurance operation to bring the client back to life upon events of their death. So the irony isn't lost on me. I thought resurrecting people was one of the head's taboos. The head does not consider the revival via life insurance to be a violation of their non-resurrection taboo. It is likely that on a technical level, this revival is actually categorized as brain resurrection, as opposed to a fully resurrection. Degradation of its function considered, of course. Another fatal downside of the technology is that, unlike the manager's clock winding, the subject cannot be brought back if their brain is destroyed. Also, there is a risk of significant losses in process of information transference. Losses, huh? So maybe some of their mutations could be more than just a side effect to these treatments. Maybe, but I heard it takes more than 1 or 2 revivals to change that much. And since apparently people in the Backstreets could never even dream of paying consistent insurance renewal rates, so after all, who would sign up for insurance if using its service could reduce them to such pitiful states? Yeah, they appear pathetic and pitiful to you rich bastards, don't they? You'll soon be in the same boat as them, so save some pity for yourself. And just like that, he was not paying attention to the whole conversation. We literally talked about being brought back from the dead by Dante. You really want to jump into a fight immediately without questioning it. Kind of dumb on your part, so I guess I can't feel sorry for when you die miserably. Identify yourself. The strange voice cut through the discussion like a foreign instrument. We turned around to find a large group of people who were cheering up so good. You must be the young master of the high and mighty J family, eh? I can tell just by looking at your pretty face. Your friends, Honglu? No, I haven't had much chance to get acquainted with people from the Backstreets, so nope, I've never met them before. Of course you haven't, too busy living large, playing gods in a whole different world from us plebs, huh? Not that it matters, we're just here to take the thing you brought here from submission to the family hierarchy evaluation. The what evaluation? Okay, there clearly been a misunderstanding. There's quite a lot of them. We're not off to a great start, man. Actually, no. It'd be a violation of our office's core values to jump them like we're some common thugs. I, Shansen, third son of the Triax office, challenge ye boy of the Joy family to a duel. Our wager will be the winner can take anything that wants from the loser. Wait, what do you mean a duel? Sigh. So it's just a fancy way of saying 1v1 me, let's go innit? I mean, this guy doesn't look too tough, what do you think, Faust? Agreed, this individual does not seem to possess any particular exceptional skills that may possess difficulties for Honglu. I think it's going to be okay. I'll be back in a minute, Dante. You sure this is okay? I don't think you're going to lose against him, but you know, just in case. No worries, I have some childhood experiences with duels myself. I've done about 10 of them, I think. So the rich boy dabbled in some duels, has he? I think you misunderstand. I mean to say that I've done about 10 of them in a day. Oh, but grandmother sometimes let me skip them, so it might be significantly fewer than that on some days. What? I, Honglu of Limbus Company. No. I, Bayo of G family, accept this duel. Honglu stepped forwards confidently as the opponent was processing what he just heard. For a moment, Honglu stood there in a stance that did not express even a hint of aggression before curiously cocking his head to the side. Sorry, are we waiting for something? Oh, so I always let the opponent go to the first 2 moves in a duel. Please don't hesitate. Let me, you cocky pride shall be your downfall. The man who introduced himself as Sun Shan Sao leaped towards Hong Lu. Then after about a minute, how is this happening? Unlike Shan San, who was throwing punches and swinging with boiling hot passion, Hong Lu was effortlessly gliding between his opponent's strikes like he was out on a picnic, as though this was about a leisurely stroll through a garden. Whenever Shan San threw a pitiful punch, Hong Lu redirected it to the side with ease, the first only grazing his clothes. We were mesmerized by the feathery, light movements of his hands and the feet that effortlessly glided through the air. Unlike after one blink and you'll miss it moment, we realized that Shan Sung was already face down on the ground, defeated. I think he's dead. Also, I'm a bit disappointed with the weapon. I thought it would be a bit more interesting, considering this appears to be an area very similar to China. Oh, young Hong Lu, hast thou been concealing thy full strength in our presence? Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I always put my all into every fight. Yet, to defeat this foe so soundly, to dance with such grace between his strikes, it was as though thou weren't dueling someone whose skills may only measure against a child. But most of our fights happen in environments with a lot of variables, and we usually fight against enemies with all kinds of unpredictable weapons and powers. You read him. Alright, familiar with the Fool's moves? Yes, one of my Biwu instructors used similar techniques as the gentleman here. Practice makes perfect, and perfection makes an expert, right? Woohoo? Right, but I'm not sure if that's entirely relevant here. No, he's not dead. Well, anyway, looks to me that he soundly kicked your behind in a duel. Let us through, why don't you? And preferably not do the thing I think you're about to do. This duel wasn't overseen by a notary office anyway, and our employers not gonna let this failure slide if we just leave. Don't just sit there, move your asses and jump them. Pathetic. I can kind of see how we're becoming experts in getting jumped. With the bitter cry of defeat, his gang rushed towards us. I did not realize the blade of his weapon was so long. Normally a spear is like a piercing weapon, not a slashing weapon. Yeah, I brought a lot of pierce units to this, I just realized.
여긴 맡겨주세요.
위에서 당신을 관리자로 정한 데에는
Wait, how do you get two of those?
기대하고 있겠습니다, 단테. 사격 개시.
Kinda hard to beat someone when I've got a crap ton of coins.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는. 이렇게 빠르게
사선 비었어요.
서로 확보한 방법이지. 쏟다.
찾았나?
의심, 암귀, 불안과 공포, 끌을 때가 가장 취약하죠. 알아듣겠습니까? 지금이 적기라는 것입니다.
이라면
사격개시
쏠 수 있죠?
시야 확보. 승부처다. 좋은 결투였다. 확실히 훌륭하군. 오버한 수감자. 덕분에 위험한 순간도 넘어간 적이
깔끔한 헤드샷. 머리통 작살났다.
저 수감자는 기억해
That was easy.
두겠습니다. 딴테.
It's only gonna go downhill from here.
치아할 만한 일이 생겼을.
This really isn't a great start, fellas. How... It's never easy, is it? Hey, at least we got a nice warm-up. It wasn't all bad. I don't know, this seems more serious than our usual street brawls. Ishmael's right, they weren't your everyday thugs who picked fights with random people for no good reason. They were contracted by someone to specifically target and eliminate Honglu. And given how open they were about their intent, calling it a contract, it doesn't seem like whoever gave the contract was exactly going for subtlety. Well, if they were going for subtlety, they would have hired the she. And we probably couldn't fight against the grade 1 she fixer. Hell, maybe even a grade 2 or 3. Then maybe this is what Jia Xingshu was talking about way back when she mentioned surviving as heir. Whoever's behind this must have a bone to pick with Honglu. Indeed, it seems that we must expect more skirmishes like this going forwards. Alas, was this trial not readily overcome? Not the point. Think of it a little more. Seems like they're assuming that Honglu brought something here in order to participate in the family hair evaluation. Then there's no reason to assume that we've seen the last of them. They're going to try again to take out the competition. A highly accurate assessment of the situation by the executive manager. I expect no less for someone with your genius. Going from classics of brown nosing today, Otis. Since when was it brown nosing to compliment a job well done? Do you not expect? This insane conversation is the most riveting, but I would prefer some silence while we wait. It seems that the company foresaw such difficulties when they sent you a support team to help handle this issue. We heard voices coming from behind us, from where Virgilius pointed. You guys still haven't learned how to stick to the plan, have you? It really threw me off when I was told to meet you in some backstreet location away from our agreed rendezvous point. A familiar voice, a voice we could not forget. Sorry, been a while, everyone. Not this bastard. Why is he still alive? Hi, I'm here too. We turned around to follow where the voices was coming from and recognized the two people we've been hoping to see again. While I wasn't hoping to see the other dude again, I still wish he was dead. He should have stayed in the damn Ishmael chapter. I forgot what it's called. Sorry. And hey pilot, right, what's wrong? It's like you're all looking at a ghost. Pilot, don't tell me that you shared my news with them the last time. Yeah, I did. Sure did, ma'am. Yeah, he did. The sinners each recovered from the initial shock of seeing them again, and soon their faces began to bloom with relief smiles. Well, good to see that things haven't changed much around here. Thordy, we're so glad to see you're okay. Tick-tock to you too. Good to see your gears are turning just fine. Thordy smiled with a familiar grin. She did not seem to have changed much since the last time we've met, save for a few minor differences. Her outfit and her badge, for example. Last I recall, you were promoted. Yes, allow me to congratulate you. Oh yeah. Or the hint of melancholy hanging from her smile and flickering in her eyes. Hey, I merely congratulated her on her promotion and offered a recognition of her excellent accomplishments. I don't see what your problem is here. But we all know the meaning of that promotion carries. Indeed, and it is very profound after all. What meaning is there to a promotion attained without spilling some blood? You really are a piece of work. Yeah, I think that's damn obvious since the first time we saw her. Let me ask you something then. If everyone behaves like you do around here, tiptoeing around the fact, keeping it hush-hush about what happens, where's she going to get the bare minimum of the recognition of the consolation she deserves? Hush-hush would have been nice. I've even overheard some of them whisper that I let my partner die just so I can snag a promotion. So in the regard, I appreciate that, Otis. If we're being technical, I did die, except my brain was intact. Not even K-Corp's regenerative ampules could have revived me if it wasn't. Then did Effie... Apparently they went right for Effie's head when they stabbed him with a prosthetic. According to the coroner autopsy, K-Corp Amul's life insurance, neither of them can revive someone with a damaged brain. It is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, let's not dwell on the depressing stuff. We're here for work, let's get some work done. So let's talk about work, okay, pilot? Yes, ma'am. Well, let's see here. Considering I happen to make friends with a fellow who has ties with the Jew family, so I brought him over. Hey, is that everything? Yes, sir. Briefing over. Just as everyone was reeling in stunned silence, the least helpful briefing we've ever had, the displeasure of sitting through. Ishmael was the first to catch herself. She looked at Sorty. Sorty, can we rely on you for some elaboration here? The briefing was a good demonstration of the necessity of educating the 5 W's and 1 H principle. Looks like we'll have a lot to discuss once we get back, pilot. Did I do something wrong? Hell yes. Pilot buddy, just stop. You're digging yourself a deeper hole with every word. Gregor quickly leaned in to warn Pilot, but it was likely too late. A nigh unnoticeable crease had already formed between Sorty's brows. Prior to commencing this high-priority operation, it was necessary for us to find individuals with connections to H-Corp. So we, as a preliminary observation unit, were put to the task and we managed to establish a connection to an individual. Ooh, someone from my family. No, we tried, but your family proved to be rather difficult nuts to crack. However, as we were wasting our precious time with all of our leads, Pilot pursued an unconventional method to establish this connection. I really didn't hold back on compliments then, and this is how you... Our collaborator is a former employee of Gia family. After leaving the family, he now runs a lodging business. Then it is likely that he is far removed from the family politics. Less motivation for him to attack us due to conflicting issues. Yes, and according to Pilot's report, he still regards the Gia family positively. How can I not, considering the blessings they have given me? An unfamiliar voice butted into the conversation as though to continue Sardi's explanation. I humbly present myself before the fellowship of young Master Bayo. I still don't know how to say that. Please call me Qingcho. I have no idea if I'm saying any of these names right. I'm 100% butchering all of them. That looks very similar to the She logo. Maybe there's a She office somewhere. He greeted us in a most polite fashion before bringing his hands together in an odd motion. Oh, is that how people greet each other here? Yep, it's called the... I'm not saying that gesture. Bringing fist and palm together to express respect and peace towards the receiver. I'm not reading that. Indeed, much did I worry about the qualities of people young master surrounded himself with, but I see that he is in company of those wise in the ways of the West. I prostrate myself before the vast breadth of your knowledge. What great generosity it is to open ajar the waterways of wisdom to quench my barren lands. I mean, I don't expect you to have... never mind. That's looking at it too literally. Something feels familiar about this. Nah, she's been getting less and less verbose with bootlicking these days. Not like this guy, for sure. That's true, he's kinda like, how should I put this? A bit much. And just like that, I am back. But I lost the person who was viewing it. Oh well. What are you guys talking about? Communicating only by the sound of tick-tock, ticking clock. This is something I had already known ahead of time, yet. What a most curious exchange to behold in person. Brief this journey may be, yet I shall find myself thoroughly entertained in its entirely. And just like that, I don't trust him. I say plant a tracker and an explosive on him. Gets too far away, he blows up. We don't like him, he blows up. And we know exactly where he goes. Maybe it's a subtle sprinkle of disrespect that reminds you of the usual flavor. Wait, is this about me, you dare? Ahem. Was all that bootlicking she did supposed to be a source of pride for her or something? Otis shook her head with clear disdain and strode towards me. We are nothing like executive manager. Never have I once said such empty flattery in your presence filled with nothing but hot air and superlatives. I will leave the guidance of the Backstreets to him. Well, looks like this is where... Zordy fell silent. Her eyes lingered on Virgilius, who stood somewhere apart from the rest of us. So I finally get to meet you, Red Gaze, in the flesh. I've looked forward to this day for a long time. Effie would have loved to be here. Manager. Virgilius seemed to sense her lingering gaze and walked towards us after nodding silently in her direction. Manager Zordy. Let's not make this any longer than it has to be. I'm not happy to be helping you with your business. I'd much rather put this behind me as soon as possible. Please, it's our historic first collaboration operation, isn't it? Can't you spare a little more with us? The guide, Bud's totally doing something, that guy. Yes, unfortunately, LCC has our own business to take care of today, so I won't be accompanying the LCB this time, and the Red Gaze will be helping us out to get it done. Taking Mephi there, vroom vroom. Maybe it's not that unfortunate now that I think about it. I feel like every mission with the LCB's always been an uphill battle to get anything done. Well, you see, back then we were just messing with you. I'm sure we'll have another chance to work together again. But I mean, we still got a few contos ahead of us. Boss, we don't have much time. Wait, before you go, I think you owe us some explanation, Virgilius. I will leave the details to Miss Faust. I'm quite busy. Very well. Virgilius turned around and left towards Mephistopheles with an oddly disgruntled expression. Well then, I'll see you around. Next time I'll show you... I'm not reading him, I don't like pilot. Pilot competence is shown through action, not words. Thordian pilot gave us a light nod before following Virgilius. Some sinners opened their mouths to speak hesitantly and closed them again. We let them go without a word. Perhaps we didn't know what we could say to not make this an awkward farewell. Very well, please, this way. Or maybe we were simply mindful of this guy who was responsible for the quality of our stay. Wait. Not on a shack. 4,000 for who? Oh, the artist identity. It was a slash. Anything else? There's extraction tickets, just a standard. Yeah, everything else is just everything's just standard. I know that was for the challenge that I'm doing. What is this? Do I not have any real slash identities? I've got you. Yeah, I don't have any of you, I know that. Not really with you. Not with you. I've only got really blunt with you. Don't with you. I do with you, but not high enough level. With you. Do with you, I do with you. Not with you. Do with you. I'll bring her from support.
이제야 부르나.
사냥감을 찾은 건가?
I'll bring you.
쑤셔 넣어주죠.
불꽃을 바라신다.
소재가 준비됐어? 지휘를 받는 건 오랜만이네요. 어머, 부탁드려요.
Deep resentment ought to be washed away, for when the far one comes betwixt the burned doors shall a star fall astray. Are you sure we're going the right way? I don't like the sound of these words. Weird songs. The main streets are most likely teeming with those seeking to bring harm to the young master. We must venture an alternative path. And like he said, there wasn't any skirmishes once we made it deeper into the dark alleyways. The lack of foot traffic would normally be pretty unsettling, but I guess that's what we need at this moment. As for the song, it's a song that becomes rather popular in the Backstreets in the recent months. The lyrics are pretty ominous for a popular song. It is a song that spread through the word of mouth. It sings of how the decimated Kong family. This is not the place to discuss such matters. I share the tale in a more appropriate setting later should we come across it. Don't know there was a song like that. Is this the first time you've heard of it too, Honglu? He's a posh git from a posh family. I doubt he's even set his precious feet in the Backstreets, so it's no wonder he's never heard anything like it. I have been in the Backstreets before, but Heathcliff isn't wrong. I did spend most of my time in my room. This is precisely because you were the most treasured one of them all, young master. Much like how the jade of the greatest worth is to be cherished, prized, and hidden in the depths of one's coffers where none shall reach. I'm liking him. To a lesser degree, particularly as of late. So that guy used to work for the Jia family, huh? Do you know him, Honglu? Young master, is there something on my face? Yeah. Honglu stopped himself as though a thought flashed in his head and glanced quietly in my direction. Then, it's nothing. Shall we continue walking down this road? Indeed, humble as I may be, I'm very well versed in the roads in this area. Honglu shook his head to me as he casually changed the subject. It was as though he was trying to hide something we know from Jiangtou. Man, I suck at reading these names. Should we be suspicious of something? He is a collaborator, but only a temporary one. A degree of caution would be advisable. That's why I suggested we put an explosive on him. Who needs discretion when you could just explode him at any moment? Given pilot's clear inexperience and naivety, we would do well to remain suspicious of this character. Failed to notice approaching me as Honglu was nodding along and chatting amicably with our guide. Well, looking back at our journey so far, I think we learned our lesson about blindly trusting every collaborator we've come across. With this growing mistrust in mind, I slowly made my distance from the guide before asking Faust the burning question. So what was that about back there with Vigilius? Something about him going off to help with them out? The consequences of his actions at Walpurgis at Wuthering Heights? Oh. His actions were a violation of one of the more important items in his contract with the company. He is simply taking responsibility for the breach of contract. I think back to the incident manner, it felt like such a long time ago now. Well, that's kind of a bummer. He really helped us out of a pickle. What, that's why they're dragging him away for... Is there a problem, honored guest? Yeah, it's nothing at all, no problem, right, Ryoshu? You idiot. Shut up. Result, can you carry Heath for a bit? He is dead tired. It will be done. Heathcliff, punched in the gut by the hit of Ryoshu's sword, fell forward right onto Mersault's welcoming shoulder. Rhodia, you know the kind of person I hate the most, the kind of dull people who can't read the room. Don't you feel the same way, Dante? Yep. I nodded enthusiastically as something seemed to imply that she wasn't really asking for a question. I don't think she was about to punch my lights out, but Rhodia and Ryoshu judged correctly this time. Classified company information must not be discussed in the presence of an outsider. Reminds me of the time he got knocked out cold for a while because he kept asking questions without raising his hand. This guy just doesn't learn, huh? You successfully preserved the security of classified information without spilling blood. I applaud this policy. I did good, didn't I? I'm just not a fan of how they're treating Heathcliff like dirt now. If it is no problem, as you say, then this will indeed. Yet I worry that it appears that the problem has found us anyway. I stopped and looked around, realizing that we were surrounded by a group of people wielding various weapons in their hands. What happened to finding us a safer path? It is likely that my guidance has indeed given us a more safer path away from the more obvious skirmishes. However, to my great regret, it appears that the more observant of our enemies have tracked us here. Damn it then. What are you even here for? Isn't it your job to prevent this exact scenario? Let's leave this finger pointing for later. We've got to have to talk to them down. They must not be allowed to disseminate our current location. Exactly, where are you slinking off to, Mr. Jingtao? I must regrettably and humbly say that my talents in war are terribly lacking, so I intend to become scarce for a moment. Yet I have the utmost faith in the strength of the young master and the honored guest in overcoming this adversity, so... Qingtao was already standing so far from the front line that he was practically hiding behind me. Faust, anything you can tell us about the enemy? No, but a constellation with the jealous scaft seems unnecessary if we are to determine whatever negotiating with them is an option. They're coming. Result, wake Heathcliff up and set him down. It will be done. I like Result. Those are some interesting weapons. Sharp looking stranger. Slice, muscle wound, and swift attack and counter.
불길 속으로. 기대.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
여기 급속이군.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요, 딴데. 적합한 조치였습니다. 목을 내놓고 있도록.
자! 숨통 끊기.
전투 감각 하나만큼은 풍속의 사자가 되어도 훌륭하게. 이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱 좋겠어. 4번 수감자. 목을 내놓고 있도록. 속에서.
Good luck winning a coin flip now.
골치 아픈 것들이 거기
The others have luck, though.
단테.
I'll gut you with a cursed engrave. Blink step. I'd like lower sanity to do a actual destructive purge.
내게 바쳐주지.
자, 숨통 끊기.
자연스러운 것입니다.
속에서
Those have got to be those have got to be some kind of guards or something. The weapons look way too neat to be a normal fixer's weapon.
왜 안에 갇혀 죽어라. 제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이 아닙니다, 단테. 이런 부수적인 효과를 기대했었죠.
흑수며 뜀박질 춤.
무차 잠들어.
아직 죽지 마라.
찢어
Oh, rabbit tail.
기원을 가지는 그대로 무너져라.
Okay. Yep, I'm totally fine. Of course, our honorable guest martial skills were as exceptionally brilliant. Young master, your light was brilliant even amongst the incandescent. I have no idea what that means. I'll take it as an insult. Heathcliff, kill him. Although Heathcliff cannot actually take my orders. This humble servant could not help hold back his tears at the wondrous sight to witness such excellent martial arts from none other than the young master himself. What an unexpected surprise. But don't the children of the Gia family undergo all kinds of strict training regiments from childhood? And I've accidentally done something to my mic, I think. Don't know what it did. Meh. It was simply my assurance that young master had ceased his training once he departed the family. Anyway, how do you think they tracked us down anyway? About that, it appears that we weren't exactly tracked down. Perhaps it may be that who lured in these places of the Backstreet recognize the young master's venerable countenance. I don't think my face is that well known. The family hair valuation are nigh, yet every soul living in Hongering must know the face of the young master who was loved by every elder of the family. It must be that they are under a assumption that you are carrying something of great value. Family hierarchy, huh? Didn't Jia Chung say something about heirs back then? They all assumed wrong then. I didn't bring anything particular precious that the elders might look for. Young master even now? I just couldn't care less about it, that's all. Besides, many of my siblings are much better fit to be the family heir hierarch than I am. Well, that is indeed a relief. A relief that it is? Well, but of course it is highly dangerous endeavor to partake in the hierarchy evaluation, so it is of great relief to know that the young master is not putting himself unnecessarily in danger. I guess that could be a relief, sort of. Phew, now that we took him all down, there shouldn't be any more on the way, right? Greg, can we not jinx ourselves for 1 second? Why are you laughing, Ryoshu? Now I'm worried. Please do not concern yourselves any further. We will take a more clandestine path. I guarantee a safe and easy passage to our destination. I still have a hard time buying that the lay of this place would constitute the perfect place to set up an ambush in most places. Yet you claim to be this to be the safest path. Well, compared to the others, it's safer, probably. Sorry about that, someone came to my door and I need to throw my dog on my bed. I got a new dog, her name is Pumpkin. Isn't that right, Pumpkin? Who's your good girl? Who's your good little baby? Who's your little baby? Yet I must ask you to place your faith in this humble servant, for Hungren is not like most places. Fine for now. Oda shut her eyes for a moment out of retorts, then turned to look at Ishmael. Hey Ishmael, you must have a pamphlet of this place handy, don't you? No way, you're actually going to read it. Why else would I ask? No, I mean, how could I not be caught off guard after almost a whole year of getting brushed off by everyone every time I plead with them to read the damn pamphlet? Like hell, did no one sing to? I will find my own intel if you're going to ramble on and on with your grievances. Okay, fine, here it is. I just opened the pamphlet, began to immediately glance at its text as though she didn't want to miss even the smallest detail of information in there. Very long. Suspicion clear of her knitted brows.
좋아. 생동감이 살아있는 좋은 공간이 됐군. 다음 먹잇감도 이런 식이었으면 좋겠어. 뜀박질 시간.
We were desperate to one. We were on a desperate run, all the while fighting off hordes upon hordes of enemies. Oi, what happened to safe and easy passage? Explain this shit. It appears that the young master radiant countenance was made known. I thought we were finding a more clandestine passage. How come we're getting jumped by ever more enemies? As I said, the young master's radiant. At least try to give us a little variation to your excuses. I cannot so easily say that say that he is being untruthful, given the disjointed allegiance of their enemies attacking us. Otis played with the pamphlet in her hand, clearly frustrated but unable to establish anything concrete. For people without a clear allegiance to attack a member of the Geo family, looks like everyone in the Backstreets has been getting pretty plucky. While I was away back then, I couldn't even catch a glimpse of their faces. They've all been on their hands and knees whenever we walked past. What a wonderful change. Oi, shove that wonderful change up your ass, you bloody loon. How much longer till we get there? My Kesham is near. Calm your worries. Our guide soon oddly calm now that he did at the beginning of his journey. Did he really get numb to all the violence that fast, or... Speaking of which, what's a Kesham? It is a term commonly used to refer to taverns, inns, or equivalent places of lodging in this region. A lodging, huh? Like a hotel? Sure, it's gotta be pretty fancy then, geez. Yeah, no. Not sure about that, but it seems like Kesham also serve alcohol and food alongside their lodging services. Maybe we can get a meal in there. And hopefully we won't be attacked there like this. Residential non-aggression taboo. Any mutual act of violence inside a residential building is within the particular area and floor of Hongyun a taboo. A taboo we may rest easy within then. I saw Faust's eyebrows slightly twitch as though she had just heard the most ridiculous thing, but I guess I'll ask her about it later. Gee man, if it's for some kind of family hierarchy or family head selection contest, why couldn't they just save all this fighting until then? Because it would be too late. Late how? And my mic's like... What is wrong with my mic? Every hierarch can... Testing? Okay, I've re-plugged in my mic. And someone's at my door again. I'm back. I'm back. Every higher condition must have brought incredible precision treasures with them. It would be nice if they believed that their own treasure is the most precious of them all, but everyone's going to try to take each other just to be sure, I see. Just in case someone else brought something even better than their own. And might as well kill them too, for the sake of convenience. Is that how the folks of your family think? What kind of line of thinking is that? But other families didn't seem too different from mine, Fuhu. Damn. Deepest apologies for intruding upon this most enthralling conversation. However, we must be inviting even further trouble by dallying here. With that, the guide pulled out a watch to check the time. It will be night soon. And you'd never want to be caught outside at night. What is going on? There we go. I have tried something again. even more of these guys. I am just gonna click win rate.
붉길 속으로.
합당한 이유가 있겠지. 기대하고 있겠습니다.
자! 숨통 끊기.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없지 않아. 적합한 조치였습니다. 그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니
제 불을 따라오십시오.
일 처리를 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 거지.
찢어 놓아주마.
아직 죽지 마라.
골치 아픈 것들이 고기 조각이 되었군요, 단테. 나쁘지 않은 성과입니다.
떨거지는 잘라낸다.
전투 감각 하나만큼은
아직 죽지
감자가
마라.
훌륭하게 되었군. 이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱
왜 안에
좋겠어.
갇혀 죽어라.
4번 수감자.
아직 죽지 마라.
자연스러운 것입니다.
골치 아픈 것들이
떨거지는
고기 조각이
잘라낸다.
되었군요, 단테.
여기 흡승전
나쁘지 않은
명령을
성과를
기대하고 있는 건
같이 없.
스킬 오물 다 죽어라.
죽어라. 가치 없고 죽어라. 실밥이 터졌나?
찢어 놓아주마. 찢어 놓아주마.
제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이 아닙니다, 단테. 이런 부수적인 효과를 기대했었죠.
떨거지는 잘라낸다.
왜 안에 갇혀 죽어라.
자, 맛볼 시간이다. 실밥이 터졌나?
골치 아픈 것들이 고기 조각이
목을 내놓고
되었군요,
있도록.
단테. 나쁘지 않은
가치 없고.
성과입니다.
가치 없군. 죽어라.
Now here we are. Is this place, after running through alleyways after alleyway, after turning corner after turner, we finally came across the site of several small buildings, tightly built next to each other. At the center of them was a building with its red lamp adorned with a door plate with complicated looking letters scribbled over it. This is shoddier than I expected. Hey, is this place a bit too trashy to house our precious young master? That is not our building. Please look this way to see where our honored guest will be staying for the night. I knew it. I heard so much from Honglu about all the splendors of it. He followed Jingtao's finger and arrived at a small warehouse of sorts, its exterior painted in black. It looks smaller than even Mephistopheles. Can we even fit in there? Hey, that place looks trashy as heck, even for us, let alone the young master. This is the nearest Kezham we could afford to stay in, at least among the ones that I manage. Yet, this location in Backstreets heavily limits the level of decency it can afford. My deepest and sincerest apologies, young master. Don't worry, we can't always sleep in decent places. It looks just fine for an overnight stay to me. Are you nuts? Can this thing even fit all of us in there? Much did I wish to guide the honored guest to the family mansion in the central zone. However, the time. Oh, the sweeping wave. Doesn't that start at 3:13 in the morning? I feel like we've got plenty of time to get there. According to the H-Corp travel guide, central area is only like an hour away from here. Has the honored guest traveled in District 8 before? Well, no, this is my first time here, but then one must ask how the honored guest could claim to have the full understanding of a place merely by flipping through a book when she hasn't had the content within it personally. Innumerably unpredictable changes await in the teeming jungle of buildings, the ever-shifting structures, the constantly changing paths, ambushes from foolish yet vicious syndicates, or even officers of the Backstreets. Oh, we are bested by danger from all sides. Such bold, flippant approach to predicting the phenomena of this place is to court death. Even a toddler knows that. One fails to distinguish his utter sorrow at the inadequacy of her wisdom. Is it just me, or are we all sinking back to Ishmael, back to the Great Lake? Zip it, Dante. But if the guidebook lists a path, does it not imply that it is technically possible to reach there in time? Oda suddenly took a sweep forward. In her hand was a H-Corp travel pamphlet that Ishmael was talking about. I have faith that if our executive manager would lead us in the direction changed, instead they would be able to lead us to the destination before nightfall. Me? This does not appear to have been discussed beforehand. Very well, I'm out to speak freely without frails. My responsibility is to bring the honored guest to the center zone and to ensure the young master's safety. It is indeed technically possible to reach the family mansion before the night in the Backstreets commences, technically. Yet not even one iota of danger to the young master shall be permitted. The mission that has been so graciously bestowed upon this humble servant is not to guide young master with haste, but to guide him with the utmost safety. Aho. It is said that those engaging in strategies and plans must remain wary of losing sight of their purpose. To stubbornly force on towards the family mansion in lieu of necessary intel is when the mobs of assailants would end. Is to wrongly prioritize the journey over the destination. Yeah. Wonderful, truly impressive. You have all the quality of someone I would trust with my life when devising a strategy. This is a most fitting attitude for those who genuinely wish to best of their serve. Really, you're just gonna start going along with him all of a sudden. I have misunderstood your intentions, truly. They sparkled my ire by comparing some of your choicest words with my very own. Yet now my eyes have been opened to the honest loyalty that lies within your heart. Of loyalty. It seems the young master has certainly gained an eye for allies for the fellowship that has caused so much relief to my heart. Listen to him, this one knows how to jest. They're basically best buds now, huh? Ahem, I may have lost my cool for a moment there. Anyway, this man speaks true. It is highly likely that we would be exposed to attacks to similar nature, where we to continue moving at this time. She's just fully on his side now, isn't she? That's when I realized that she was looking in my direction. The exaggerated smile had all but completely faded from her face, replaced with an odd but dead serious expression. When our gaze locked, she nodded. She must be. Completely turned around by the guy. Is this her way of saying, so long, I'm gonna quit and go work with this guy now? Thanks for everything. And as for the hotel, it is still much better than sleeping in outdoor tents. Barracks, we should be able to relieve ourselves of some fatigue here before moving on. Did you not earlier insist on continuing our search for a better accommodation with the greatest venomance, Miss Otis? Yeah, whatever, we get the point. Let's go inside. My humble self can only behold our generous acceptance of the instrument lodging with the deepest gratitude. After all that serious talk, the man seemed oddly relieved to hear our decision as he brought his fist and palm together. Architecture of today mustn't be judged with such haste merely by an observation of the exterior. The interior may hold aught to be surprised of, worry not. With radiant surrender without, wouldn't that be nice? We made our way into the building. Oh, this actually isn't so bad. It's clear in here. This place presents a rather classical aesthetic. The landscape paintings lining the walls give off a rather sophisticated mood. And it's much more spacious inside than it looks from the outside. Did they use some kind of space expansion technology in here too? No, it seems that the building only appears small due to the density of the structure in proximity. While the door is now open, should my presence be required, I shall be in a small shed next to this building. Please do converse freely. The man smiled awkwardly and quietly excused himself as the excitement among the sinners began to grow. Meanwhile, Honglo stood a far distance from the guide, quietly watching his face as he left. His expression was enigmatic, as if he were gazing upon the clouds, the flowers, or even the wind. Yet there was no light in those eyes. It was as if they beheld a storm cloud, a desolate field of wilted flowers, and a hailing destruction gale. Do you suspect something, Honglu? So I decide to ask. Not yet. I don't think. Huh? Not yet? So, big brother, something fell off to you too, huh? That's when we caught a familiar voice. Whoa, Jishun, it's you, and so soon too. Yeah, I told you I had a feeling we'd be seeing each other again very soon. Have you been well, young master? I'm so glad to see that you're doing well, Mr. Well. Oh, wait, don't tell me you're staying here too, Jishun. I normally wouldn't even set foot in a place like this, but I ran into some kind of large-scale construction on my way back to the family mansion, had to come in through the Backstreets. So we weren't the only ones troubled by the random construction site. Hail to thee. The confident look on Jishun's face was immediately replaced by that of alarm. Did she lose her memories again? Is she with you? No, Don Quixote the same as always. Ahem ahem. But she looks like such an airhead. Young Jishun, Well, wouldn't thou accompany me to the lounge by a moment that we may share a moment of catching up? Yeah, actually, let's do that. Hold on. Jishun seemed to hesitate for a moment, staring at Don Quixote after hearing that her memories were intact, before walking right up to her. I like the idea, shall we? Why don't you go and find a room for me and stay in while I talk things out with her? What you wanted to do some catching up, right? Manager Squire. Loss of critical personnel may be a cause of disciplinary action, Dante. I don't think there's anything wrong with making friends, though. Looks like Jishun really likes Don Quixote. Is she comfortable enough to tease her like that? It's not Don Quixote she likes, obviously, just wants Don Quixote's power she saw back then. My lady, this is hardly the appropriate place for... Fine, I'll try again later. Go get some sleep. I'm heading into... Jishun thought with a bit of disappointment before heading into the lobby. Well, let's all head inside now. So I and the rest of the sinners followed her into the lodging.
좋아. 생동감이 살아있는 좋은 공간이 됐군. 다음 먹잇감도 이런 식이었으면 좋겠어.
I might end the stream here actually, because I need to go get some stuff done, and I'll probably stream this game again at 5 PM. So, thank yous for coming, and I'll see yous all next time. Goodbye.